spring semester classes started today at the University of Cincinnati, and it has been 5 months since UC launched its detailed COVID response plan. So far, UC calls its plan a huge success.
But Chief Investigative Reporter Craig Cheatham reviewed hundreds of pages of UC records that show the university's plan had some glitches along the way.
On the University of Cincinnati campus,
I feel safe.
Students told us UC created a COVID response plan.
They're definitely taking correct steps
that keeps them informed and makes it as easy as possible to reduce risk while getting an education.
I think the university did overall a good job.
But a WCPO9 I-Team investigation found some UC officials on the COVID response team had urgent concerns in the fall semester about key parts of that plan and its potential impact on students.
The I-Team learned about those issues by reviewing more than 700 pages of internal UC records we had requested under Ohio's Public Records Act. Those documents show how UC responded to the challenges.
I think what we're talking about is some people who recognize that we had some labor pains as an institution.
Dr. Chris Lewis, UC's Associate Vice Provost for Academic Affairs and a physician, is a leader of the university's team that's developing and executing UC's COVID plan. He was involved in resolving what he described as glitches. UC records show Google refused to activate the university's Android phone COVID Check app for about 3 weeks. The app enables students to share and receive updated information related to COVID, including student surveys that are required to be completed and approved before students can enter certain buildings on campus. Google said UC didn't provide an updated privacy policy, test user login credentials, a letter from a public health official, and other information required to activate the app. In a September 3 email, Lewis told a Google engineer that we are in dire need of approval, and Lewis urged Google to provide a detailed list of everything needed to activate the account. A day later, Lewis told Google, quote, "Our entire City of Cincinnati leadership and University of Cincinnati leadership teams are quite frustrated by our inability to get this simple issue resolved expeditiously."
The urgency that you note in my communication about the Android app, I'll own that. I'm a perfectionist, and I want something right, and I want something done for all of our students.
A UC email shows the university's Android app was finally activated on September 14.
It was frustrating when there were issues beyond our control as an institution with a third-party vendor.
UC paid the consulting firm Deloitte $590,000 for developing and launching the COVID Check app, along with other services. Deloitte's contract shows it's the university's responsibility to deal directly with third-party vendors like Google. In a September 9 email, Dr. Kim Miller, the executive director of UC Health Services, wrote that they were receiving a, quote, barrage of calls, emails, and complaints. But university records provided to the I-Team show only 55 of the 17,000 COVID Check app users submitted complaints and requests for help.
That is a huge success in my book, particularly when you look at a lot of colleges across the country who weren't able to do the same thing, who had to close down.
Lewis says UC was able to avoid major outbreaks and return to some face-to-face on-campus classes because students, employees, and medical professionals emphasized strategies that work: masks, social distancing, effective contact tracing, and personal responsibility.
I think our students heard our messaging loud and clear about what to do to protect themselves and others.
Craig Cheatham, WCPO9 I-Team.
As recently as 3 months ago, some UC officials had concerns about the accuracy of their COVID testing data. You can read more on that part of the story on WCPO.com.